Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you once again to the studios of the Eagles. As you know, every Mondays and Thursdays we come your way with the Eagles Nest Show. Today is going to be a very special day because we've got a very special guest on the show this evening. So wherever you are, I will encourage you to share with your brother, your sister, your auntie. Let them come live and listen to PPP's broadcasting this evening. So, as I always say, there is no copyright attached to it. So you have the freedom to share with your friends and family. You can download it, you can share, you can do whatever you want to do with the material. There is nothing wrong in that. So today, as I said, it's a very special day. We are honored to have the one and only flag bearer for PPP on the show at the studios of the Eagles. So I will encourage you to, as I said, invite your friend, invite your sister, invite your cousins, all your families to tune in to listen what my mom has for me. I call her mom, so she is my mom. She is my mom. So as I said, I will open up phone lines for you to call in when the time is right and for you to interrupt. If you have any question, you know the number on the screen already. You can call or you can text. Only WhatsApp call. As you know, this program is it's an international program, so our number is international number. So you can call us on WhatsApp, and then we will allow you to talk or interact with the program. But as I always say, be respectful, be polite. We don't entertain any abnormal behavior on this show because a lot of people and prominent people listen to this particular program. So you have to be polite when you are talking, when you want to ask a question, or when you want to make your point or pass something through, be polite in whatever thing that you want to say. So, Mom, welcome to the Eagles Net Show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you. Your sound is a little bit low. As they say in my motherland, mature your voice.
Yes, unfortunately, I'm a bit under the weather this evening. So.
Oh, sorry, Mom. Sorry. Yes. Sorry, Mom. It's good to have you. You told me you're not feeling well, but because of the love, you have for Ghanaians, you are not feeling well, but you've come to the show. We do appreciate the effort that you've taken time from your busy schedules to come to the studios of Eagles to talk to Ghanaians across the world. This is the only international program in Ghana broadcasting live all the way from UK to and across the world. Yeah. So straight, without wasting much of your time, I wanted to play some PPP songs, but let's zoom into the questions, and after that, I will play some music for our listeners because, as you said, you're not feeling well, so we just want to, just quickly zoom into the program, and then get it done, and so that you can have a bit of rest. Yes, I know that a lot of people knows you, but I will actually give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the whole wide world. And who is Miss Bridget? And yeah. So if you can tell our listeners who you are, we can hear you again, Mom. Sorry. Hello. We are struggling to hear you, Mom. Yeah, we still can't hear you, Mom. Nah. Uh, I don't think your microphone is also off, but I don't know why we can't hear you, but we're struggling to hear you at the moment. Your microphone is on, but I don't know why we can't hear you. Hello, Mom, can you hear us? We can't hear you. Sorry for the sound difficulties that um, Miss Bridget is having today. As I said, it's going to be a wonderful day at the studios of the Eagles. We've got the flag bearer herself at the studios of the Eagles. She's going to talk to us about PPP's vision for Ghana. She is the flag bearer for PPP. So today is a very, very wonderful day. I mean, a special day to be precise. I think she's trying to reposition herself. So while she's doing that, I will play you some music and continue as we wait for her to join the studios of Eagles. Okay.
Is this better?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it, Mom. Much better, much clearer. Everything looks perfect now. So the whole world is listening to you. Now you are about to tell the world who you are. So the microphone is yours, Mom.
Okay. So, like you introduced me, my name is Bridget Jobenuku. I'm a Ghanaian woman, obviously. I'm a mother of one. I'm a child. I was born of a military father, and of course a
Mm,
civilian mother. My military father has since passed away. I grew up in the military from 1969 until I was about 20 years old. So I experienced various parts of Ghana, if you like. I experienced the revolutions. I experienced union government. I experienced all those things. I'm
mm,
the last born of a family of five. There's two of us who are girls, and there are three boys. Um, I went to all the military schools you can think of, primary schools, and then I went to Wesley Girls High School. Yes, because my
Mm.
father was a dedicated military man. He went from camp to camp and from station to station. So we lived in
Mm.
Takoradi, we lived in Tamale, we lived in Burma camp, we lived in Teshi, and
Wow.
each time we moved, I went to a new primary school. So I'm a child of Ghana. I've experienced Ghana in many many ways.
Mm.
Um, I went to Wesley Girls High School from when we used to do 7 years, so from one till sixth form. And I went to University of Ghana and studied modern languages, which, for that reason, took me to Tanzania for a year of university, and then I went back there to work. But before that, I worked with Elf Oil, I worked with SC Johnson,
Mm.
and then I worked with Ashanti Goldfield, but in Tanzania. So, what I did languages, I speak some French and I speak a lot of Swahili. Um,
Wow.
yes, so I worked with Ashanti Goldfields in Tanzania, and then I came back and came to run Aviation Social Center for about 12 years. And then I left and set up my own company. Um, as with many things, it didn't do too well, but I currently have a nonprofit. I also set up a nonprofit called Mentoring Women
Mm.
Ghana, with which I've been
Okay.
mentoring young girls for the last about 12 years as well, since 2008. And um, I'm also working with uh, women in my hometown producing palm oil, Jomi. For those of you in London, I hear people in London have been asking when you'll get it there. I'm actually working with one company who I'm still
Okay.
waiting to place their order. So
All
the
right.
women in my hometown produce palm oil, Jomi, for me. So that's my business, and then I work with a non-profit. But people might ask how I got into politics. I think since 2008, I've been working with. I've gone through several programs. It started with the U.S. States Department, which took me to the U.S. On a program called the Fortune Mentoring Program. After which
Mhm.
I came and set up my mentoring program. And after that, I have gone back to do a lot of programs in women's leadership, women's entrepreneurship, and several programs since 2008. And that's Bridget in a nutshell.
Mm. Thank you so much. I think everybody listening to us have now have a bit of idea about what Bridget or who Bridget is all about. And I think you've got a lot of things on your portfolio, a lot of things on your. You guys, you've been everywhere in Ghana, and I think you've been in my hometown as well. Comerican. I'm a Comerican. That's the
Yeah,
now the
I,
folk.
I've been.
uh,
Yes.
you've been to Comerican, yeah?
But
Yeah, so
we'll keep it to Mercy for our own integrity. We won't have anybody come and recolonize us.
that's interesting. Yeah, thank you for the introduction. I think it's really wonderful to know that you are and actually, I mean, you're a stateswoman. I mean, you've been everywhere in Ghana. Now, let's zoom straight into today's question. Um, to start with, some people have been testing. I think you can, if you can see from even from the comment, and you are the PPP candidate. I mean, presidential candidate. Now, the question is, where is Indum and how is PPP doing at the moment?
Well, PPP is doing well. Dr. Indom, as you know, announced that he wasn't running again
Mm,
because of his ill health. But um, if you think about it, it's time for us, the younger ones, to take up the mantle of the party and run it. And therefore,
mm,
you realize that new executives have been voted in, younger, more vibrant, if you like, and ready to roll or to rumble, if you like.
mm,
Um, and maybe what should be emulated by the other parties is to put a lot more of the younger people in there, because the
involved.
future is ours. We are, as our register says, um, the last voters register they just compiled. The largest number of registrants are the youth, and if we have the leadership so far removed from the youth, it doesn't bode well for them. So the younger the people in the party, the better, and I think that's a plus for the PPP. So it's
Yeah.
time for the younger ones
Mm.
to take over, and that's what we're doing.
That's really good. I like the idea that, allowing the young generation, the younger people the youngsters to actually get into politics is really, really important. Now, my first question is, what made you to run for president, if I may ask?
Well, you would, I'm sure you recall that in 2016, I was Dr. Indom's running mate. I was a vice presidential
Mm,
candidate. So when he said he wasn't in a position to run anymore, it just stood to reason that I would, contest and run and see if the people actually like me. And I was his vice presidential candidate. Why not take up the presidency now? And that is what I'm doing. you know. Yes, I
mm,
felt that I also had something to contribute. Look, it's also time for women's leadership, and no party has actually, well, the NDP has, and a few other small ones have, but women's leadership needs to be showcased in Ghana as well. And I think that, as I said to you, since 2008, I've been on all these programs that when I think back, it's almost like destiny, where I'm being pushed into leadership by all the training I've gone through and all the networks I've built and all that. So it was in order that if I have these skills and the knowledge, why not step up to the plate and decide that I will, be the presidential candidate this time if the Dr. Indom was not going to contest.
mm. All right. Now, people have been saying that all political parties or all government are the same, you know. Now, I just want you to tell Ghanaians what kind of government would you wish to bring to Ghanaians? The
Well,
same
yes,
that, yeah,
people say
a
all
different
government
type of government. Yeah.
because they've only
Mm-hmm.
tried the two parties, NPP and NDC, since we started voting in 1992. They haven't tried anything else. I think that one thing people don't know is we Ghanaians have been put in a place of fear where uh, we are afraid to try something else. What we should do is not be afraid and venture out and try something new. uh, we feel that all governments are the same because they promise us, the NDC promise us and come and don't deliver anything different. Then the NPP comes and gives us a little hope, and then they don't deliver anything different either. I think that the difference between what we offer and the others is that the PPP has a vision. It's interesting that our uh, logo, our emblem is the sun. The sun, you can only look towards the sun for your vision. you know I mean, if you look at all the plants on the earth, they grow towards the sun. So each one of us living things, we grow towards the sun. That is our vision. So the PPP has a vision. It's a party with a vision, and it is also a party, I'm sure you heard it said in 2016, incorruptible. I mean, the level of corruption now, and that is why the two parties are said not to be different. The level of corruption is rife, it's high, and we say we are an incorruptible party. And when we're in government, we will be incorruptible. We believe we are not afraid of losing power. I think the two parties, the reason why they are no different is because each time they are in power, they are afraid of losing power, so that all they are doing is trying to retain power rather than work for the good of the Ghanaians. I don't think that we are afraid of losing power. I think that when we come into power within the 4 years, we will do something dramatic, and people won't have a choice but to retain us. And it won't be anything to, keep money so that we can buy votes or monetize our politics. But we will make a difference in the lives of the people. And to make a difference in the lives of the people, I think we've said it many times that we will see to that constitutional review. The constitution that has been reviewed but has been packed up and is gathering dust on some shelf somewhere must be reviewed. And there are certain areas in that constitution that must be paid attention to. For example, this attempt, the lame attempt the NPP made at voting in our own DCs and MMDCs, um, it's such a pity because the conversation was not about whether we were going to vote these people along partisan lines. The conversation was simply, are we voting for them? Are we allowing Ghanaians to choose their own DCs and MMDCs? And poor Ghanaians, once again, were denied that opportunity because the president chose to interpret it in his way and not let us vote on that referendum. Excuse me.
That's all right.
Excuse me.
Sorry, mom. Mm.
Fine. And it's not COVID. I have allergies, and my allergies just keep. I just ate. Yeah.
Okay. Mm.
Yeah. So we were denied that, but the PPP will ensure that we vote those, we decentralize government and put power in the hands of the people so that they also can decide. They can take their MMDCs to task. Then development goes down to the people. They choose what they want. I find it funny. Today, the DC in my constituency, Afajato South, gave me a call. And
Mhm.
he was inviting me to some events on tourism in the uh, district. So I asked him, I said, how are you going to promote tourism in the district when you don't have roads that come there? The
Mhm.
Eastern Corridor is in shambles. And he says, oh, they are fixing it. They are fixing it in three parts. Well, the palm oil I do comes from one of the villages. And guess what? I spoke to the lady today and they've asphalted that part of the road. So it's interesting that they choose a certain path to asphalt uh, in the politics, And I keep saying that we don't want to play the politics of the policy. Let's look at the impact of it. Indeed, if they've gone and asphalted this town where my I do business just to impress them, maybe because they know that if I do business with them and I'm putting resources, money in the hands of these women, then they should also try and go and do something. And fix the road. Then it's to the benefit of the people, and I thank them very much for doing so. But
Mm.
why wait until now? And why do just that portion of the road? And he actually said it to me that they had done that portion of the road. I thank them very much. But it's not about that. It's about 4 years. You've been in party for in power for 4 years, and it's taking you
Mhm.
this long to come and do that. That is not what we want. We want the progress of people, whether they are our constituents or not, whether they are our supporters or not. And the PPP will make sure that every guy, and that's why we talk about inclusive government, everybody will be included, everybody will benefit. It doesn't have to be that you belong to the PPP or not. Every Ghanaian is a Ghanaian. And indeed, even in our governance, we will bring on board all Ghanaians. It doesn't matter whether you belong to one party or other. So long as you have the expertise and knowledge, we are happy to bring you on board and let you govern with us and develop the country because we have fantastic brains. But because we want to keep the politics and the governance in the hands of just a few people who will benefit us, we tend to have square pegs in round holes. There are people who cannot actually perform, but we have them there. And we, the PPP, are saying we'll bring everybody on board. It doesn't matter. I was having a conversation 2 days ago with a friend. about this Ijapa royalties deal. And I was saying, look, there's even an issue of conflict of interest in there. And then she says to me, well, what do you expect? Did you want them to put an NDC person there? And so I said, what's wrong with an NDC? Isn't an NDC person a Ghanaian? You know, and we have divided this country along those two parties lines so badly that and sown fear. You know, apart from the fact that we've divided it, we've sown fear. These people are not good and those people are not good. And therefore, we are missing out on a great deal of talent uh, because of that. Because all it takes is a little suspicion that you belong to the other party and you are out. Now, another thing also is the PPP obviously believes in women. Women entrepreneurs make up a great a large percentage of the informal sector in Ghana. And in fact, if you look at our resources now, the women entrepreneurs are the ones who are doing most in the value addition. I mean, you can take me for example, but look at shea butter, look at black soap or so liquid soap. We have a woman, Ama Adwa Ghana, who does liquid soap. But I mean, if you look at it individually, it doesn't look that significant. But if you look at it on the whole, I belong to an AGA Association of Ghana Industries platform, and it's a women's platform, and the amazing things they are doing. It's women who are converting our cocoa into chocolate. It's no longer just cocoa processing. There are other small scale women who are doing business and taking our chocolates internationally. There are women in all spheres who are, and we know it, that our women are dynamic. And yet we have more or less cut them out of the leadership of this country. Our affirmative action bill, same as our constitution, has been folded and put somewhere. The spousal rights bill is being skirted around because the other two parties don't actually believe in the strength and the power of women. But here is the PPP choosing a woman as a presidential candidate. So we are different in many, many, many ways, and we must count those and make Ghanaians see the difference and vote the PPP into power in December 2020.
Okay. Mom, when you were talking about PPP, how PPP government will be like, you made mention of three key things. You talked about incorruptible government, you talked about inclusive government, and you talk about empowering women. Now, can I ask you briefly, how would you run a government that is incorruptible, that is inclusive, and that empowers women? How would you do that?
Well, like I said, an incorruptible government is one that is kept on its toes by the systems in place. For example, we have said in the PPP that we will review the constitution and ensure that you detach the office of the attorney general and the special prosecutor from the Ministry of Justice. What's happening now is that because there's no the special prosecutors' hands are tied, they are unable to prosecute people who belong to them, if you like, if I can use those words, when they
Okay.
are actually found as corrupt. We have so many cases of corruption that have come to fore. Thankfully for journalists and for people who investigate some of these things, but nothing has come of them. Nothing has been said of them, and it is because these, if you like, these two, the Ministry of Justice, the Attorney General, are one people. So how do you then separate the powers? We will have to separate the powers to ensure that people are prosecuted when they are found to be corrupt.
Even if they are PPP members.
Even if you are PPP members, even if you are PPP members, I mean, you are a Ghanaian, you are wronging Ghana, and yes, you may be a PPP member, but we must stand up. It is Ghana first, it's not the party first. We must
Okay.
have the interest of Ghana at heart. So, yes, that is one of the ways that we will ensure that people are found incorruptible. You know, political party funding is another way. We raise funds within the country from people in the country. The two parties have been found to raise money internationally, and I think it is something that the Electoral Commission must look at. How do political parties raise funds? And recently, I was on a fundraising. I was on in a forum where they were talking about political party fundraising, where even at the primaries, people were giving
mm,
away fridges, rice cookers, bags of rice. And in fact, there was a video done by City FM where they showed wads of 50 Ghana cedi wrapped in polythene, cellophane bags being given away to the delegates. And when you do that, I mean, we've already monetized our politics. So it is going to be very difficult when you are in power not to pay back that money that you've raised and that money you've used on your politics. So we must look at the way we fund our politics and where the money is coming from, because when you do win, you will by all means have to pay that money back. And that is when we go and sign dubious contracts and give away a lot of Ghana's money because we have to pay back after winning the election. So we also will look at our funding and ensure that the funding is coming a limited amount from individuals and or whoever is funding us, so that we will not be held to ransom and therefore have to pay back monies in the form of big contracts to the detriment of the Ghanaian when we are in power.
that's really interesting to know. And then let me come back to the empowerment bit of women. In a snapshot, how would you empower women in Ghana?
You
Because
know,
it's really
I'm already,
important.
excuse me, I'm already
Sorry.
empowering women.
Yeah,
Um,
okay.
yes, by the work I do. Sorry, excuse me, I'm taking my medication. I'm
That's all
already
right.
empowering
Thank you.
women, and the business I do is putting money, giving money back to them. I mean, I buy their products, I put their products on the world stage. We are now exporting to the US, but that is not all. I find it a bit difficult when I see that it is just money you are giving people. They say you must teach the people to fish and not give them fish. So
Mm,
of course these women are processing their own palm oil. So they have been taught to fish, and they were taught to fish by their tradition a long time ago. But the thing is, our education, we have said that um, when we come into power, we will make education accessible and free for all from the basic education. Now, to say that free and compulsory, in certain places, and I think in Ghana in the past, children were made to go to school. It is free, but you must go to school. You must stay in school. And we are saying that you will go to school from the basic to the senior secondary school for free. So it's not just free SHS, but it's throughout, making sure that it is compulsory. And we'll also ensure that the BECE is abolished. The reason why the BECE should be abolished is because what is happening now is a lot of people are not qualifying to go to SHS. Now, if they are not qualifying to go to SHS, they are dropping out. When they are dropping out, in fact, a lot of dropouts then end up with a teenage pregnancy, which is the girls. So if you are ensuring that all this is happening, sorry.
that's all
If you
right.
are
That's
ensuring
all
that
right.
all this is happening, then you are giving the girls the opportunity also to go to school. Another way is because we say we will review the constitution, the affirmative action bill will be passed. We will ensure that women will have either alternate power, or a certain percentage of women will be appointed into government or will contest for the DCs and MMDCs, because we know that women's leadership is key. It makes a difference. So in the leadership positions, we would like to have some women in there. And also with our education, it will ensure that a lot more girls are in school and stay in school so that they are empowered to have a better future.
All right. Thank you, Mom. Yeah. Let me quickly ask you this question that everybody is trying to know. Um, I want you to name three socioeconomic issues that you will tackle within your first 100 days in office. Just three. I know there are a lot of problems in Ghana, but the three main socioeconomic issues that you will tackle
I
as
think
the
it will be jobs,
president of the
first of
country.
all. The first one would be jobs. I mean, there are so many, the unemployment rates are high. There are so many young people without jobs. I mean, the
Hmm.
moment you give people jobs where they have an earning power, they are empowered. They are even empowered to speak. They are empowered to demand what is rightfully theirs from the government. I think that a lot of people have been disempowered because they are not employed, and they continue to be disempowered because when it comes to election time, they go and give them 50 CDs and make them think, oh, we'll do everything for you, and then come the next elections or come after 1 year, these promises fade away, the people disappear, and nothing happens. So jobs will be the most important to empower the youth. Secondly, we all, here I am in ill health. One of the things
Hmm.
we have to look at is health. I think that what the one thing COVID showed us was that our health was in crisis. And whilst a lot of edifices have been built, I don't think that enough people are being trained as health workers, and they are not in the places that they should be. I have said that, with health, it's the health, the edifices are good. The infrastructure, the health infrastructure is a good thing. But we have a health infrastructure at Ridge, at a Ridge hospital, and yet they have the highest cases of negligence and death of patients, or death through negligence. So one thing is the training of the health practitioners should be elevated. It should be higher. It should be a lot more should go into it. And I think the word care, the health care, is important. I think those of you out there, you know it, that we suffer a lot when it comes to health care. When it comes here, we have brilliant doctors, brilliant surgeons, but when they are done with their surgery, the care is a problem, and then we tend to lose people because they just haven't been given adequate aftercare. So, whilst health is important and we need to get health infrastructure all over the country, and we will ensure that whatever projects that have been started will be finished in that area, we also need to invest in our healthcare workers so that they will be able to give the people the care that they need in times of crisis. COVID has shown us that that was the one place we are deficient in, and we must step it up very quickly. I think that one of the third one would probably will likely be our agriculture. We have so much food, and yet each year, year after year, I mean, the tomatoes are out now, and before you know, is the people up north will start complaining that they have so much tomatoes and it's going to rot because we don't know how to process it. We don't know how to store it properly, and therefore each year, year after, and not just tomatoes, yam, we don't have the roads to access some of these places, and when we do, we just don't support the farmers enough with grain, and we don't ensure that they have good crops coming out at every season. So the farmers will be supported. We need agric extension workers to go out to the farmers and show them how to treat their crops, and equip the farmers themselves with machinery so that they can mechanize their farming. We are tired of every um, farmers day. There is you go and then they give farmers things totally unrelated to their trade. They must be equipped with machinery that helps them with their farming. So those are the three areas: the jobs, health, and agric.
That is lovely. That is lovely. It means that people like myself will get jobs to do when we come down to Ghana. That would be interesting. Yeah. You when you were talking before, you made mention of the Ejapa royalty scandal, and you cited an example that somebody was saying that why they shouldn't have put an English or something. You remember you made some. Yeah, let me ask you something. What is PPP's view or your personal view now that you represent PPP on the Japan
My view.
royalties deal?
Look,
Yeah, what would
there's
a
not
PP? Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with trying to maximize uh, profits or make money off your royalties or invest your royalties so that it makes you some good returns to invest in infrastructure and capital. There's nothing wrong with that. It is the way you go about it. The entire deal has been shrouded in a lot of secrecy. The entire deal has a lot of conflicts of interest going on in there, all kinds of people closely related to governments. And why are we putting the deal with a company that is registered in a tax haven? It looks shady. So these are my views on it. It is shady, and indeed, not a lot of people were consulted on the deal. When there was an outburst and there was a lot of outcry about the deal, they decided to backtrack and go and speak to the CSOs about it to make them understand. But there's still the issue of conflict of interest. There's still the issue of it being in a company that is registered in Jersey. There's everybody has misgivings about Jersey, and the secrecy. Even in Jersey, you cannot go and get information on the directors of the company and things like that. So it looks very shady. It doesn't look truthful, and that is where our problem lies. They should make it a cleaner. They should have made us all understand what was going on, what they were trying to do, rather than just bring this deal into Parliament for it to be passed. The minerals royalties are our is Ghana's money. It doesn't belong to any particular party or any particular tribe. It belongs to the whole of Ghana, and they should take a look at it again and let us all be involved in how they want to invest the money so that we can make if it's a clean deal, they should make it open so that everybody has a say in it.
So that is really interesting to know. Yeah, I hope such things will not happen under the government or under PPP's watch.
I don't believe it will. Far from it. We want to involve all Ghanaians in our government. Why would we want to hide things from people, or disenfranchise or rip Ghanaians off in a very. And you see that the sad thing about it is when you try to talk about it, then they say, "Oh, you're not an investment banker, so you'll not understand." That is very unfair. That is very unfair because you know what? The man in the mines is not an investment banker, but he needs to know that when he has toiled 8 hours a day, what becomes of the money that Ghana makes of it? And he must feel
Mm.
it too.
Hmm. That's really interesting. I do get your point. Now, listeners, I've opened the phone line, so if you want to call or chat, we have 10 minutes to bring the program to an end. Our special guest is not feeling too well, but they are checking, trying to be with us. So we'll be ending the program very soon, so you can go and rest. But if you have any questions or if you want to call onto the program, this phone number is on the screen, and you can call or text, and then I will pass the message on. Yeah, people have been talking about emerging with other political parties. I'm referring to the Nkrumah's parties, as we say, and I'm reading an article online at the moment, and Ghana Web, and I think somebody suggested something like that, that because of personal interest or something, um, these political parties don't want to come together because they, according to the article, he says that it would have made you stronger to take NDC and MPP out of power. So let me put it to you. Let me ask you this: do you think that it would have been a good idea, or do you think PPP in the future will have some sort of coalition or emerge with other encroaching parties, or PPP will fight alone and change Ghana?
We reached out to the other parties soon after the 2016 elections and said, let's come together.
Mm,
We held a series of meetings. I don't think it went down well with all of them. And they didn't accept. It wasn't a matter of just PPP. I don't think that there was the interest in for the other parties to look at that agenda. So it didn't happen. But we did reach out. I remember then the chairman, then Nia Lotebru Hammond, reached out and held a series of meetings, but the interest wasn't there. And we are still open. If they want to join us, they are welcome to join us. And indeed, it will make us stronger to face the NDC and the NPP. But in saying so, I know that Ghanaians want something different, and it will show in the elections come December 2020.
that's all right. That's I've got a text message coming in, so let me quickly pass it down. And somebody is saying that you said you create jobs for young people,
Yeah.
and what kind of job are you going to create for young, and how are you going to do that?
You
Because
know, when
when
when you give Ghanaians the opportunity to vote their own DCs and MMDCs into power, you are also creating avenues for jobs in those areas, in all those districts, both in government and outside of government. Let me give you an example with what I'm doing with the women in the palm oil business. It has provided jobs for some people. The women just process the palm oil, but there are people who sell the palm to them. There are people who pound the palm for them, and they themselves do the processing. And there are people who package for them. There are drivers who bring the products to Accra and things like that. This is a small business. But in every district, amazingly in Ghana, there is something, there's a product that value can be added to. And in all those districts, if you decide to go in there, there was a town just outside of the Northern Volta. The name starts with S. It keeps escaping me. But they are producers of yam, and they were complaining that the yam remains in their town and rots. And I was thinking about it and I was saying, and this was something I picked up from Dr. Indo. What if you process the yam into chips? Now, if you decided that that place had so much yam that you were going to start producing yam chips, you'll have a small factory producing yam chips. You will employ people in there to process
to work in the
that
factory.
yam. So in
Mm,
every district, when we went to the Brown Hafo district for Brown Hafo region at the time before it was divided, they were complaining about their cashew and storage. Now, if they were supposed to process that cashew into other things, if there was a factory there, that would be jobs for the people there. So, even within the districts, if you add value to what they already produce in their primary state, you'll be creating jobs for them. And that is what we are looking at. And if I'm sorry,
sorry, mom. That's all right.
if you look at it like that and you say, okay, we are creating they are going to employ their own DCs and MMDC. They are going to vote for their own DCs and MMDCs. Those people will also employ people within within that district. There's nobody going to be coming from Accra or going to be appointed from Accra. Those jobs will be for you in those districts. Those are some of the jobs we look to create. The farms, when we mechanize farming, by all means, already a lot of young people have gone into farming already, but a lot more will be given access to farming and to working on mechanized plantations.
That's really interesting. That is really interesting. Another question for you, Mom. Um, the person is trying to find out that you made mention of DCEs and you call it MMDCEs,
Yes.
and yeah, he's just talking about uh, you know, how would PPP continue what other governments have left behind? Like, I think he's trying to refer to projects because I keep on getting this question that, governments, when they come into power, they tend to forget or continue what the previous administrator has started. So, what would PPP do
You see,
in this case? I think.
said, when I started, I said these two parties have worked in fear. If I go, they are thinking if I go and finish this one's project, they'll say it's that one's project, and therefore I won't get the glory. But it is all for Ghana. Ghana must develop, Ghana must progress. It is not NPP's project or NDC's project or PPP's project. It is Ghana's project. And it's time we started thinking about projects like that. It is the taxpayers' money that they have used to start that project. And therefore, it must not be wasted. It must be finished. Sometimes I hear them say that the NPP say, oh, but that project, there was a lot of controversy and we must investigate. It doesn't mean the work should stop. You can investigate and continue with the project. And I think that what happened now is that when COVID came, then we realized, oh dear, we need to finish some of these health infrastructure, these hospitals and clinics. Why did we have to wait? Why were we not commissioning them? Because we didn't want to give glory to the other party. But it won't. It won't. The point is, it is Ghana's projects. At the end of the day, should be the pride of Ghana. And if you are working in the interest of Ghanaians, then you go ahead and finish the projects that have been started. I come from the Volta region. The Eastern Corridor Road, like I told you earlier, has been abandoned because it's supposed to be an NDC stronghold. And yet the NDC came and did not fix that road. So I was ranting to the DCE today saying, fix the road and then you can promote tourism. And that's when he said to me, some parts of the roads are being fixed. Guess which part of the road is being fixed? Where I do my business. Doesn't take rocket science to figure out what they are trying to do, but it is fine because it is in the interest of the people. If that is the part of the road you want to fix, thank you. Ghana is the one that benefits in the end, not me, not Bridget, not PPP. So we should start looking at things in the interest of Ghana. We are all Ghanaians at the end of the day.
So, do you think that we have to have something like a long-term developmental plan or something? Because to ensure that when governments come into power, they stick to the plan. Because if I come and do my own thing, and this one comes in and do his own thing, then we're going to have the same problem trending every single time, wasting
Yes.
taxpayers' money.
Yes, and that's exactly what is happening. And you see, it's happening like that because, first of all, we need to work on our constitution. And secondly, we need a national development plan, like you said, so that nobody comes and says, I'm not going to finish this. We need the plan. And the plan, they did a plan and they did a 40-year plan. 40 years, who knows when COVID will come again within that 40 years. So it must be shorter than that. 10 years maybe, and then we all work towards that 10 years, and each time it's reviewed 10 years further. But if you're going to just sit down and each time somebody comes with their manifesto and the entire manifesto is far removed from the previous government, then we must start asking ourselves, where are we headed? You know, and that's what these two parties are doing. And what I call it is a competition in mediocrity. It's like who can do worse. And then at the end of the day, when one is in power, they're saying, well, I did better than these people. But you didn't do best. I only did better. And so they are only comparing what the previous government, they're only comparing themselves to what the previous government did. Why don't you aim for the sun? Why don't you aim for a higher vision? Why are you competing on the ground in mediocrity? My bad is better than your bad. That is what we have right now.
That's interesting, but yeah, listeners, we'll be bringing the program to an end very soon. Thank you, our special guests, the PPP presidential candidate, the next president of Ghana, if I may put it that way. And finally, somebody has put in a question. It's going to be the last question because our time is up, so that you can go and rest. Yeah. The person is asking if PPP's manifesto is ready. And I don't know what you want to say, but I
Yes, it
just
is. We
said,
don't call it a manifesto, we call it an agenda. It's a 10-point
okay,
agenda. And I've mentioned a number of the things in here in the conversation as we had it. And it is not
okay.
promising to build this and to give money to so and so. There are fundamental issues with our governance and with our democracy. Our democracy, more or less, has not grown since 1992. And that is because we are still working with a 1992 constitution that gave a dictator all the powers. Winner takes all. I'm in power. My ministers, when you spoke about the incorruptible government, for example, you have ministers that are parliamentarians. So they go for cabinet meetings and then they come and vote yes because it's all in their interest. You know, so that has to change. The fundamentals of our democracy and our governance has to change, and a lot of uh, parts of our manifesto are addressing that issue. And that's why I'm saying to you that we in the PPP are not afraid of coming into power and losing power. We are happy. We are more or less forging towards redefining and refining our democracy and our governance.
So if I get what you're saying, PPP don't have a manifesto as they say,
We
or
call
as the
it a
for the other
10-point agenda. It's not, you see,
10
the
points.
manifesto today, for example, I was listening to the NDC's manifesto, and it was
Yeah,
all
that's what I
promising
think.
building this and doing that. That the corruption will still be there. The corruption will still be there if you do not deal with all the fundamentals of our democracy and our constitution. The corruption will still be there if you still have ministers who are parliamentarians, if you still have all the powers in the hands of the president and not in the hands of the people. So let's deal with that first and make sure that people also have a say in what they want. Actually, when the City FM was discussing the manifesto, so the manifesto is not about what people want. It's about what the parties want for the people. The people must also now be able to say, this is what we want in our governance. And that is what we call agency. They must have a voice and be able to speak, and the government must answer to them. And for the PPP, that is what we want.
That's all right. Thank you for your time. Before we bring the program to an end, in 1 minute, what you want to say to Ghanaians?
I'd like to say to Ghanaians and the youth that, it's your time. This is our time. We have practiced this kind of governance, like I said, since 1992. But you know what? The energy that is fueling our governance is coming from pain and bitterness and fear from 1966, 1972, 1979. They've carried this, and we did not experience any of that. We have a vision. We are looking towards the sun. Let's move towards the sun. Let's go and vote for people who will bring us what we want. I grew 28 years ago, was half my life, not quite half, well, more than half my life ago. And I haven't seen much change. you won't see change if you don't bring the change. So you bring the change. You vote for the PPP.
Thank you, Mom, for your time on the Eagles Nest show. I know you're not feeling well, but you've taken time, to be with us. And I think the whole world have heard what you said, and they will vote for you. I believe they will vote for you because it will be a history, great history for Ghana. For Ghana to have a female president, the first female president to change the course of Ghana and to change the course of power. So we will thank you for your time, and we will thank our listeners, those who've been testing and calling and leaving comment on our Facebook page. We thank Jojo. I want to thank Mabna, Jacobo for your comment. Bolegatanga to the world for your comment. You are watching it on our YouTube channel. And Yakubu again, Sarah, Safar, sorry if I got your name wrong, pardon me. And David for your comment, Sadat for your comment, and Dr. Indum for his comment. He is a fan of these programs. I know he always comments on the show. Say thank you, Papa, for commenting. And we'll bring the program to an end, and you can go and rest. Thank you for your time, Mommy, and I will talk to you again.
I'm looking at the comments, but thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in. We're bringing the program to an end. It has been a wonderful time at the studios of the Eagles. As you know, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Eagles GH. It's Eagles, the Eagles GH. Or subscribe to all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's Eagles GH. The Eagles, we are here to bring you information about Ghana and the things trending in Ghana. And today, we had the honor of having the flag bearer of PPP on the show. We'll come your way on Thursday, 6 p.m. GMT. As I always say, if you don't know GMT, ask Uncle Google. Google GMT, and you know the exact time that we're gonna be live. So now we are live on so many platforms. So you can watch us live on Facebook, you can watch us live on YouTube, and we'll be going live on Twitch very soon, so that wherever you are, you can watch us, bring you exciting programming, and you can be part of this program as well, by always calling onto the show. So thank you for your text messages, thank you for watching us, and thank you for being part of this interesting discussion. We'll come your way next week, this week, Thursday, 6 p.m. GMT. As I said, you can share with your friends and family. It's free. There is no copyright attached to it. Just share. Just listen to PPP's point of view and vote for PPP. There's coming election. By so doing, I think you'll be voting for your own life. What I mean by that is that when you vote for PPP, you can also change your life for the better. Thank you for tuning in. We love you all. We see you next time. Bye.